Hi guys, Mrs. Powers here, and I will be reading to lesson 16 for history today, and it is the Maya. So I hope you enjoy. Can you imagine the United States disappearing from history? It's hard for us to believe that an advanced civilization could be lost. However, it has happened. For thousands of years, there were people living in Mexico and in the rainforests of Central America who later seemed to practically vanish. Who were these mysterious people? They were the Maya. The plural is sometimes written as Mayas, but we're going to use it Maya, okay? Early Mayan history dates back thousands of years before Christ. The exact date of their beginnings is unknown. However, historians suspect that the Maya migrated to North America from Asia way back when there existed a land bridge between the two continents. If you looked at a globe or atlas now, you would see that the Bering Strait, a small body of water, is presently between Asia and North America. Well, at some point in history, there was exposed land in this area, making it easy to cross on foot from one continent to the other without getting very wet. It appears that's how the Maya originally arrived in Mexico and Central America. For centuries, the Maya lived as hunters and gatherers in the rainforests of the region. But sometime around 350, the Mayan culture really took off. From about 350 to 900, the Maya experienced what we call their classical period. It was a time when they were most prosperous. What made the Maya flourish? Lots of things. For one, like the mathematicians in India, they too developed the concept of zero. This was done miles and miles apart from other civilizations that were just beginning to use zero. The Maya were also masters at astronomy. They accurately estimated the numbers of days in a year, and like the Indians, calculated when to expect eclipses. They also figured out the orbit pattern of Venus. Neither the Romans nor the mathematicians of India had accomplished that. When it came to education, most Mayan children were homeschooled by their parents. I doubt that homeschooling back then was as extensive as it is today, but nonetheless, parents took responsibility to teach their children as best they could with what they knew. Formal schooling was reserved for children of the nobility. All children had to memorize chants that explained the legends and history of their people. Unlike other Native Americans, the Maya had a written language. Their writing was a form of hieroglyphics combining pictures and sounds to make words. The understanding of the Mayan language has taken more than 100 years to figure out. But once these hieroglyphics were decoded, Mayan history has been better understood. The Maya wrote on just about everything to tell us who they were. They wrote in books, on pots, on stone pillars, and throughout their ornate murals. What is most amazing about their carved writings is that they were made with stone tools. There were no metals used in classic Mayan times. As for art, the Mayan people used extremely bright colors to express themselves. Their distinctive art form depicted daily life and their religious beliefs. Their architecture or buildings also reflected their religious beliefs. Tall, towering, step pyramids were typically built for the priests so they might be closer to the gods. Low-lying palaces served to meet the daily needs of the priests and other royalty. What were the religious beliefs of the Maya? It seems that they worshipped gods representing nature, such as the rain, sun, corn, and soil of the earth. They thought that everything descended from the moon or the sun, calling these our mother and our father. Unfortunately, the Maya appear to have practiced some human sacrifices to their gods. They later adopted the worship of Kukulkan, from the people of Mexico. It's either Kukulkan, was a feathered serpent god. To make a living, most of the Maya worked as farmers. They were scattered in small villages throughout present-day Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. The cities were reserved for priests and the nobility. On religious occasions, farming families would travel to the cities where the roads were paved and the trading was good. These were important social occasions too. One of the more exciting events found in the cities was a crude form of basketball. Interesting. The Mayan men had to bounce the ball up and down a court and try to pass it through a raised hoop. However, the ball couldn't touch the ground. It had to be bounced off the player's thighs, hips, and elbows instead. It was apparently so difficult to achieve this that as soon as one team scored, the game was over. The losers not only lost their dignity, but also their clothes and jewelry to the winners. Do you wonder what the Maya looked like? From their artwork, we have a pretty good idea that most of them were short and stocky with particularly round heads and dark hair. It seems, too, that the culture so valued a sloping forehead that mothers would wrap their babies' heads to make them grow that way. Mothers were also inclined to dangle beads in front of the eyes of their babies, believing it would help them become cross-eyed, which they considered beautiful. Like their artwork, the clothes of the Maya were colorful and showy. Garments were painted, embroidered, and decorated in bright colors with feathery fringes. Men and women alike wore jewelry, which included earrings and necklaces of seeds, shells, jade, and even the wings of beetles. Mayan attire was loud and festive compared to their European contemporaries in Rome. So, with all of this great achievement, how and why did the Maya nearly disappear? Nobody knows for sure. Apparently, sometime around 800 or 900, the Maya completely abandoned their elaborate cities. They left the temples, the palaces, and the ball courts. Eventually, they left their farms too. It may have been a combination of economic problems, disease, and crop failure that drove the Maya away. How do we know so much about these people if they were lost in history? Well, it goes back to solid archaeological work. In the late 19th century, dedicated people began to unearth the palaces, the temples, and the plazas of the Maya. For almost 1,000 years, these sites had been completely hidden behind and under dense forests and high mountains in that region. Except for the patience of the diggers, these landmarks might never have been found. Besides these ruins that attest to the once great Maya, there are millions of people now living in Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize who claim to be modern Maya. They are actually a blend of many native peoples from Mexico and Central America, including descendants of the ancient Maya. With pride in their heritage, the modern Maya help to keep alive the mysteries of the past. All right, there's your lesson 16 on the Maya. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the lost cities. Kind of neat to think about and crazy. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed and have a great week.